If you've been homeschooling for any length of time, I'm sure you have heard hundreds or thousands of pieces of advice, and it's really impossible to remember it all and to apply it all. But every once in a while, you will hear a piece of advice that just really sticks with you and is really helpful, and it really is just something that you consistently think about over and over. My name is Lauren. I'm a homeschooling mom to 3 girls. This is our 5th year of homeschooling. And so back when I was first starting my, just to research and everything before I even started homeschool, I was looking up all the information I could on homeschool. And so there's no way we can capture all of the advice and remember it all, but this is just something that really, really stuck with me. A few things that I have remembered for all of the years that I have been homeschooling. First, I want to share a resource from Creative Fabrica. If you've been around for a while, you know I've shared them several times. I've shared a teacher's club card, which gives you access to thousands, 13,000 different teachers' resources and crafts and things like that you can use for your homeschool. And if you are interested in that, I have a link down below for that. But today I want to share something a little different from Creative Fabrica. They're offering an all-access pass, and it has over 6 million different resources that you can choose from fonts, graphics, digital resources, so many things to choose from. Really, really awesome. So I'm going to tell you some of the benefits of getting this. It's access to any design they have on here, and new resources are being added constantly all the time. So they're always updating, always improving, always adding more. The files are commercially licensed, so even if you cancel your subscription, you can keep those, whatever you've downloaded, you can keep on file forever, and you can use those for print and video and advertising and things like that. What's really cool is you can become a creator yourself. So even if you're not super crafty, but you have the idea for design, graphic design, or maybe your child likes the idea of graphic design, you can create your own designs using a CF Spark, a Creative Fabrica Spark. So what it is you basically describe what you want to create, and they have this tool that will create the design that you are looking for. So that is, I think, really cool. I've never even heard of that, and I think that would be really, really fun to do, just to see what designs you could come up with. There are literally hundreds of classes that you can take from different designers and crafters, and it covers all skill levels and different topics, which I think that alone covers the cost of the whole subscription itself, just having access to all these different classes. There's also discounts that you can get from purchasing from the creators that are partnering with Creative Fabrica. You can have all of your different fonts and graphics all in one area. So again, if you really love digital design and graphic design, or you have a student, one of your children really likes that, it's all up front for you so that you can see all of the graphics and fonts. And again, if you ever cancel, you still get to keep those. That is just some of the amazing perks of having an all-access pass. So what you can do is you can sign up for a free trial, and so you can get 10 downloads or a month free, whichever one comes first. And then after that, it is just $9.99 per month. If you really, really love it and you're like, no, I want to commit to it, you can go ahead and purchase a whole annual subscription, and it comes to just $4.99 per month for the whole subscription. You can cancel at any time. There's no questions. You can just, if you're not satisfied anymore, you just don't need it anymore, it's no big deal to cancel. So maybe you have an Etsy shop or something like that, and you're trying to look for different designs in order to, different graphics and things like that. I think this would be really, really fun. A great benefit to have. So let's get started on the advice I'm so glad that I took. And again, this may not be applicable to you, but these are just some things that I wanted to share just because they really have resonated with me so much. And so I just felt like I had to share them. Okay, so first I heard this at the very beginning before I ever started homeschooling. And I think it was a podcast by, I believe it was Pam Barnhill. And she said, what is the overall climate of your homeschool? So let's think about, you want to make sure you're basing and taking a reflective view of your homeschool from the overall climate, not the day-to-day weather. everybody, the day-to-day weather is going to change. You're going to have really terrible days. You're going to have really awesome days. You're going to have just okay days. You're going to have days where there's attitudes. You're going to have days where everybody gets along and you have all the patience in the world. So let's not judge our homeschool based on those ebbs and flows, but what does the overall climate of our homeschool look like? And just for me, remembering that has been super helpful. Like, I try not to be too hard on myself on those days where we just like did not get much done. Like, I try to look back at the end of the year. What have we accomplished? Have we grown together? Was my patience worked on this year? Have my children improved in this area of character that they needed to develop and things like that? So reflecting of the overall, what did our homeschool look like? And that's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to have different goals. Maybe you want your homeschool to be more rigorous. Maybe you want yours to be more relaxed. And I'm sure everybody wants a peaceful homeschool. But what environment do you want your homeschool to look like? And just having that, reminding myself, okay, it's not the day-to-day weather. You know, there's always going to be a thunderstorm. There's always going to be a sunny day. But what overall climate do we have? And just remembering that has been really, really helpful in, like, maybe your climate is not going in the direction you would like to go. And so you think, well, we've had a few good days, but overall you just know, this isn't really exactly where we're wanting to go, and trying to veer it into the direction that you would prefer and would like to see for your homeschool. The second one is going to be account for curriculum changes. And again, this is something I heard before I ever started homeschooling, before my first year. So this has been helpful because there has been curriculum that I've been so excited about. And I thought, this is going to work and this is going to be great. And then we get it. And when push comes to shove, it's just not working for us and not fitting for us. And so I think that giving yourself that allowance to say, hey, this isn't working, we can stop, and we don't have to just keep pushing through just because we are committed to it, or we don't want to give it up, or because we need to. There's something hanging over our heads that's telling us we just have to keep going on. I remember hearing this person, their account wasn't their main account, wasn't like for homeschool, it was for something else, but they did happen to homeschool and weren't talking about homeschooling. And they mentioned that this one program was really awful. Their children was in tears every day. They hated it. Took a long time to do every day, and it was just a bad fit. And they were like, but we've already paid for it, and so we're just going to keep going with it, and then next year we'll change. And that just didn't sit right with me. And I get it. There is something to be said about like not just quitting, and you have paid for it. And I understand that, most of us are on a budget and we don't want to just be throwing money away, right? It seems like we're just throwing money away. But we need to remember, like, the more important thing is our children and their relationship to learning and education and specific subjects. And like, if they're crying and in tears every day and stressed out, it's okay. We can give ourselves grace that we don't need to just push through and continue to do it, just for the sake of toughing it out. And not saying you just quit at the drop of a hat. Oh, this didn't work well for a lesson or 2 or 10 lessons, so let's just fly on to something else. Like, I'm not saying that either. You don't necessarily, you can be the judge of that, but just to give ourselves, like, we're all smart. I think we can all figure it out. Like, wait a second, this isn't working. And just giving ourselves that permission that it's okay if you have to change something midway through the year, 3/4 of the way through the year, at the beginning of the year, and setting aside a little bit of wiggle room physically in our budget for that. Budgets obviously vary from house to house and homeschool to homeschool, so that's not going to look the same, but just having a little bit of wiggle room in that budget. And again, I know some of them are really, really, really tight, and you're like, oh, I don't want to shell out a bunch of money. But just, if there's any way, like, I try to get things that are used, books that are used, non-consumable books, when I can, on eBay or Facebook Market or something like that. I try to sell our old curriculum that we're not using anymore. I try to save money and make money in those ways so that I have a little bit more room to work with. And so having that, knowing that, okay, if this doesn't work, there still is a little bit of cushion I have to go with. Just having that mindset has saved us. And not that we change a lot throughout the years, like we don't change everything every year, but there have been times, and just knowing it's okay if you need to change, and that's all part of it. That's okay. That's why we're homeschooling, to best fit our kids' needs. Just knowing that has been really helpful to me. It's been like it's like permission, like it's okay. Someone has given me permission to say it's okay if it's not working. And then lastly, this piece of advice I probably didn't hear till maybe, I don't know, at least a year or two into our homeschool. I wish I had heard it earlier. But what are you going to do, right? You can't control everything you hear all the time. So we don't do lessons when there's attitudes, when there is meltdowns, when there is tears, when we're not in the right proper mindset to learn. And I know you all have been there and all know exactly what I'm talking about. So what happens when we are faced with that? We take a break, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it takes to be able to calm down, regroup, and be able to come back and appropriately be able to learn and finish the lesson. Because there's multiple things. First, they're just going to get more frustrated. You're just going to get more frustrated. There's absolutely no learning going on. None. They are not grasping any concepts when they're in a state of upheaval. So to continue to just try to push through it just to finish a lesson or just because is just a complete waste of time. It's just going to make things worse. So again, we take a break. So whether it is getting a snack, whether it is doing something else, playing with the dog, going outside, getting some fresh air, maybe just going in your room for a few minutes to calm down. Maybe it's just you need a hug from mom and like a reminder that it'll all be okay, whatever it is. And same goes for mom too. Maybe you're frustrated, to just take a few minutes to step away. And so there's just a hard and fast rule. As soon as I can tell, like, okay, no learning is happening, meltdowns, whatever the case may be, the books literally close and we take a break. Now, that doesn't mean you just are done for the day. It could be. There's times where that calls for, I would say most of the time though, just taking that step back and breather is good enough. And then we can continue and go on from there and finish the subject, finish the lesson. And so just knowing that the rule that is not ever, ever broken that's a hard and fast rule I stick with all the time. As soon as we're not able to learn, we step back, do something else until we are in the right frame of mind for the learning to continue. Those are just 3 pieces of advice. You may have heard some of these, you may not have heard some of these might not be relevant to you at all. But again, it was just something that's been 3 things that have really, really been beneficial to us in our homeschool and something that I keep in mind all the time. And so I just wanted to, like I said, share my thoughts, share this really helpful advice that was really good for us. If you have a really good helpful advice, like one piece of advice that you just live with and has been so instrumental for you, please leave it below. I'd love to hear what it is. Make sure you check out Creative Fabrica, all access, pass, unlimited downloads, many resources, videos, graphics, fonts, designs, crafts, arts, all of the fun things. So make sure you check out. I'll have that information all below. If there's any questions, please feel free to let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed hearing some of my advice. This wasn't even my advice. It was advice I stole from other people that I'm just regurgitating to you, let's be honest. Anyway, hopefully you found this helpful. I hope you have a really good day, and I will see you soon. Bye.